All right, hello everyone. I'm calling today's legislative body meeting to order on November 10th, 2025 at 3:15 p.m. So the first thing we're doing is doing roll call. Vice President Balfe is here. Senator Biagini. Here. TBT Clements is excused. Senator Cochran. Here. Senator Conley. Here. Draft Designer Kurtai. Here. Senator Cebulski is excused. DEI Chair Dixon is also excused. Treasurer Bell. Here. Chief of Staff Gary. Here. Recording Secretary Hildebrand. Here. Senator Lauries. Here. Comms Director Lucero. Here. Senator Mahone. Here. Senator Palizka is excused. President Rangel. Here. Senator Roberts. Here. Senator Sharifi is excused. Senator Shepard. Parliamentarian Faith. Here. Alrighty. So first we're going to approve last week's minutes. So last week we had 2 speakers. We decided to plan prom. We had some club updates, some resolutions in the works, and then we talked about end of semester goals and our spring goals as well. Yeah.
Wasn't I excused last week? I told you I wasn't going to be here, but I told you.
We can edit that. You're excused from last week. Would anyone else like to approve the minutes with the exception that Riley was excused last week? Senator Conley, would anyone like a second? Senator Cochran? Perfect. So for this week, we have 2 reports from exec members. We've got 2 committee reports, 3 items of business, a couple senator reports, and then additionally, which was not on the agenda, which was sent out last night, we have a senator appointment, and my report's a little bit longer just by 1 item. Would anyone like to motion to approve these minutes with that addition? Senator Cochran, would anyone like a second? Senator Roberts, it's approved. So the first thing that we have, oh, I haven't even been talking to the microphone. I was so worried about taking a roll call. First thing. Hello.
Hello. Okay. The first thing we have is a senator appointment by our president. So I'm going to pass that to President Rangel.
All right, so we got a new member coming in, new senator to be sworn in. Trinity Patterson. All right. Why don't you go stand up and we will do the pledge, or the oath, the same oath. Just repeat after me. I, say your name.
I, Trinity.
Pledge to serve the Student Government Association of Point Park University.
Pledge to serve the Student Government Association of Point Park University.
And the students within.
And the students within.
To faithfully execute the duties assigned to my office.
To faithfully execute the duties assigned to my office.
And to the best of my ability.
And to the best of my ability.
Uphold the provisions and purpose of the Constitution of the Student Government Association.
Uphold the provisions and purpose of the Constitution of the Student Government Association.
Awesome, thank you. Welcome.
All right, that takes us to our first open floor. Does anyone have anything to discuss for our first open floor?
Yes.
Senator Mahone, please use the microphone.
Don.
It might just take a second. Join whenever it's on.
It's on, but it's not.
No.
What about now? What about now? The light's green. It's literally what you want from me. Okay, well. Yes. Oh. Thank you. So we are going to do, of course, the water bottle drive we've been talking about. We need like milk crates to collect the water bottles in. And I guess I was talking to Sam a little bit about this, and the question came up like, how many of these do we actually need? Like, I think that we should, as like a legislative body, set a goal for how many water bottles we actually want to like set a target goal for how many water bottles we want to be able to collect to redistribute, so that we have an idea of like how much like we need to spend on milk crates. Like, do we just need one? Do we need two? Do we need three?
Does everyone have context for the project Riley's talking about? Raise your hand if you don't.
If not, I can explain it.
The globe needs context.
Okay. Yeah, so we're working on a water bottle recall drive where we're going to collect reusable water bottles from people who don't use them anymore, so that we can give them to clubs instead of buying them like plastic single-use water bottles in bulk when they need water. The idea is to cut down on the plastic waste that we're producing here. So for that project, we will need like a crate, at least one crate, to collect the water bottles in. I think that's about everything.
I think if anyone else has any ideas, they can go first, but I know what I would do. I think that we can take a look at the finance records and see how many clubs have requested water bottles and how many water bottles they've requested, and we can aim for something in that range. Yeah. Cool. Anything else for our first open floor? Senator at Large Frank.
This is working now, for the record.
Can I turn this on? Hello. I don't know if I can turn this one on.
Hey there.
Yippee! It's on.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Hi. So, I'd just like to propose something, bring something to the legislative body that I was speaking with some peers about today. Some peers of mine had expressed a potential interest in students here at Plymouth Park University being granted access to Quizlet Premium as a study resource. I understand student government in the past has led initiatives that got us like our access to public transportation and things of that nature. So I figured I'd bring this idea up here. I was also considering to gauge more general student interest, because it is a sort of smaller sample size that I've spoken to thus far. Potentially going to some events this week, such as Harvard Honeymoon this Wednesday, and asking students there for my office hour if they would be interested in this as a resource. But once again, I wanted to bring it to the body to garner some initial thoughts.
Thoughts from the senators? Senator Cochran?
I just wanted to say I think that'd be a great idea for students. We've already done things similar to that with our UPass in the past, and subscriptions like that. I think that'd be something the student body generally would appreciate. But yeah, after engaging consensus, I think that it's something I definitely support. And if there's anything that you would need help on with that, I'm not sure if there would be, then I'd love to join.
Yeah, so this year we got Adobe for everyone, which was great, and apparently our former president, Mark Palumbo, passed a resolution saying that every student should get that like 2 or 3 years ago, and hearing that at the time I was like, that's so silly, they're not going to listen to that, and they did, so it's definitely something that we could craft a resolution on. If you need help crafting that resolution, you can talk to Parliamentarian Rafe, but I think it'd be really a great opportunity for a senator to bring a resolution to Ledgebot. Anything else? Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yep. Anything else for first open floor? All right. Executive reports. First up is President Rinko.
Okay. So, first off, sorry it's so cold in here. I don't control the weather, but it's like 63 degrees right now. Yeah. So, first thing I wanted to bring up is the UCC collab. I know last week we got to hear from Laura. Sadly, I wasn't there, but I watched the YouTube video. Thank you. And it was pretty great. So Cassie reached out to me again about potential collab with us, SGA, and the UCC on doing the newsletter for the stalls. I forget what exactly they called it. The newsletters in the bathroom. But they're going to be piloting that next spring. So we're going to try and come up with ways we can help them on that and collaborate and just get the word out and try to get people to be respectful and not tear them down and destroy them. So Liz also ran into me and asked about the layout for the town hall. We're gonna have November 18th. November 18th, so that should be exciting. It's from like 6 to 7:30. Yeah, we're brainstorming a bunch of ideas for that. We were doing that just today. We're thinking about giving out a raffle or something like that for questions asked. We really want participation on this because we want to hear from the student body, and I think this would be a great opportunity for that. We're going ahead with prom. Found that out too, so that's pretty exciting. Came up with some brainstorming, some prom ideas, and we haven't gotten anywhere yet, but I'm excited to see where it goes. And I also am going to be, like, throughout this week, focusing on transitions, because it's never too late to start. I know we're a long way from elections, like our elections next spring, but I wanted to get a head start on that. So look out for that, and that's pretty much it. I like the Quizlet idea. I wonder if we can, in addition to that, encourage the use of Quizlet in classes as well, because I think it is a good study guide resource.
All right, for my updates, for the club space improvement, I sent out a big email to every single club officer on campus, including like CAB and some of the larger ones that are probably not going to need our support, just to check in with them. Basically saying, we want to hear feedback from you. How are we doing as an organization? How are you doing as a club? And is there anything that we can do to improve your life on campus as a club? We want to hear from their members, so we're going to be sending some senators to their meetings just to talk to them about, opinions right from the mouth, because I know that we often try to conduct research here, but us going out is to people that are definitely interested in what we do is, I think, the next move for us. I also updated the whiteboard in the office, so we had a bunch of different goals on there, and they were kind of sporadic. They were from like the beginning of the semester / the end of summer. So I went in there and I updated it for what every single committee is actively working on. It includes all 5 of the permanent committees as well as the ad hoc committees that are existing. So the Culinary Committee is on there as well as the Student Theater Advocacy Committee. I think there might be one other committee that's like kind of in the works on there, I don't really remember. And then on the other side of the whiteboard, it's got things that you can do for your office hour. So it's a lot of emailing or walking around and brainstorming. So I think most of it is things that you can email like day of, but then there's also one initiative that would include like walking around downtown, and then there's another one that would include like brainstorming. So those are your options from us, from Exec Hub for your office hours. Those aren't something that you have to do, but if you don't know what to do for your office hour, those are in there for you to use. I also emailed Heather Fielder, who is in charge of the garden behind West Penn, seeing as we had so much interest in volunteering. So we are potentially going to be working with her. I'd love to hear times that you guys are available. Last time we did this, it was like a Friday or a Saturday during the day. So I don't know how that would work with everyone's availability. So I'd love to hear from you guys when you would want to do a gardening time throughout the week. Because we can make that a pretty regular thing. We're probably going to clean it up this winter and then start planting things like in the spring. And then we also have the opportunity to, while the garden is not being utilized this winter, we can put something else there if we want to. Like if we want to paint rocks for it, SGA has done that in the past and put rocks in the garden. We could also like beautify them over the winter. We could get like little pebbles and like decorate the boxes and stuff if we want to do that. So during Second Open Floor, I'd love to hear ideas for gardening. Thank you. So for our committee reports, we're hearing from comms and rules. So I'll start with our comms director, Lisa.
I'm actually going to hand this over. I think Liv has. Is this okay with you?
That's fine.
Okay, Liv has a better idea of what's going on with the polls, but also please make sure to tell your friends about the town hall meeting that we're hosting.
Yeah, town hall's going to be great. There's going to be free breakfast. Please attend.
Hello, friends. Okay, so yes, we are still working on our weekly polls.
We just did it was a Hocus Pocus Halloween theme, during Halloween weekend. We had a costume contest and we have chosen the winner. They got an Owala water bottle and, the little Lego set with the 2 plants with those little smiley faces on them. So, I would say on average, we're getting about anywhere between 20 to like 28 responses consistently throughout the polls, every time we post them and on every poll. So like the beginning one will have around 25 and then the end will also have 25. So people are answering each of the polls. It's just collectively, it's only about 20 to 28 people per poll. So I don't think that's terrible considering that we post every single Thursday. On the story. This week, we are posting we're trying to advertise the town hall a little earlier than just trying to get people to come next week, because that is on, it's either Tuesday or Wednesday, Tuesday next week. So we wouldn't even be able to post a poll about it because it would already be over. So we're leaning heavy into the Gilmore Girls theme this week. We're going to flop back and forth between questions about the town hall meeting, or polls about the town hall meeting itself, and then just fun Gilmore Girl questions like, who is Rory's best boyfriend, who's your favorite side character, and then we will be also having a raffle / giveaway at the town hall meeting. We're looking to get hopefully a blanket and a teddy bear from the bookstore downstairs to give away to somebody, and then we might also be getting a t-shirt from, who was giving us a t-shirt? Halo, Keith Halo. So just a little giveaway. And then the raffle entries will be, you get one for just attending the town hall meeting, and then for every question you ask during the meeting, or I'll have to see if it's like question or input, but we'll decide. You get an extra entry, so that it encourages people to actually talk more and hopefully win a prize. So that's what we're working on. And then we're gonna try and hopefully get our first, like This Week in SGA post out on the story this week. And we can't post on TikTok because somebody stole our microphone. Sorry. That's all. I would personally love to see the Globe write about our town hall encouraging students to come to it. That's just my personal opinion. Now we're hearing from Parliamentarian Wraith for the Rules Committee update.
Alrighty, hi everyone. As you all saw earlier last night or looked at earlier today, we've got 2 resolutions and a club constitution to vote on. For the 2 resolutions, one of them is to clarify our process for internal suspensions of executive cabinet members, and the other is just to update the finance guidelines that are set out in the bylaws. While these resolutions are pretty small, I hope they'll serve as a way to tighten up our rules and provide more guidance and clarity for future administrations, especially in regards to these pretty important parts of what we do as a student government. As for the Constitution, it's a pretty straightforward change. The club, formerly known as Student Alliance to Vitalize the Earth or SAFE, is rebranding to the Environmental Action Club and is updating our purpose to go along with it. That's pretty much it.
All right, Senator reports. Do senators have anything to report? Senator Cochran?
Okay, hello. So this last week, I talked to Treasurer Fell and Vice President Powell for a discussion of the 2-week glass case posters that will soon be placed in SGA's glass display right outside this room.
Is that mic on?
I think so. Yes, it's really quiet.
Just get a little closer.
Right here. I also contacted the Conservatory Administrator, Alex Yarko, in order to discern what the next steps would be for the practice room registration initiative, essentially just trying to figure out who my next points of contact would be. And then I also started communication with some of the Student Theater Advocacy Committee members and let them know that I plan to schedule a meeting for after the Playhouse's production at your town.
Love it. Anyone else? Senator at Large Frank?
Yeah. I actually spent the majority of my senator office hour this past week cleaning the office space. I vacuumed and whatnot, took care of the space. And other than that, I've also been brainstorming that idea I mentioned earlier with Quizlet Premium, and it's been about it on my end.
Thank you for cleaning. Yeah.
On what day did you clean the office?
I believe it was last Wednesday or Thursday?
Did you happen to perchance see a mini microphone on the table?
I did not, unfortunately. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
That actually is news. We've had some robberies from our office. We had a mini mic stolen and a red Wii remote stolen. The first thing that went missing was the red Wii remote, which was a donation. So we were like, okay, that's chill. And then the mini mic went missing, and we were like, okay, this is not chill. So if you guys see someone stealing, tell them you caught them red-handed, take a picture, and then go, nah, 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 nah. I don't know what to do if you actually catch them. Does any other senators have anything to report? Senator Biagini?
This one is not loud.
That's okay.
It's
It's okay. It's okay. I already had this one. Nothing crazy. Just following up on the initiative, on my initiative to get Boost available on weekends. I emailed Colinar about the possibility of that, and I sent them the data from Yik Yak of like the poll that I posted, and I have not heard anything back, but that's kind of just waiting to hear back from them.
Yeah, we did a Yik Yak poll basically saying, I know, I see you smiling, basically saying, upvote if you want Boost available on weekends, and it got 214 upvotes, which is about 9.5% of the student body population, so it's actually a very significant amount of the students that want that, and due to the way that the app works, we feel that the data is legitimate, even though it is from Yik Yak. So, yes, it's a little bit funny, but yeah, data's data. So, does anyone else have anything to report? Awesome. Moving on to new business, we've got resolution 11102 or 11/10/2025 one bylaws. Okay, there we go. Jesus. So this one is the resolution to clarify internal suspension process for executive cabinet members. I'm going to let you guys have a minute to read over this. Would anyone like to motion to discuss? Senator Mahone, would anyone like to second? Senator Roberts? All right, I'm going to pass the mic to parliamentarian.
It's me again, hi. So basically, all this resolution does is it introduces a specific internal suspension process for executive cabinet members, because for a while it has just been after the offending member hits the internal suspension or like absence limit, you have to discuss it in your executive cabinet meeting, but doesn't provide literally any other guidance as to what we're supposed to do. So this resolution basically creates a system in which if that was to happen, the executive cabinet still has to discuss it, but an action plan will be created and the offending officer will have to agree to follow that. If they don't follow it, if they don't respond to notification within about a week, they are automatically removed as an officer from student government. If they follow it, they're removed. If the same thing happens and they get suspended again, the executive cabinet votes on the removal from office. And if they keep the officer, they basically just get a second warning. Third time it happens, you're automatically removed. I think the system sounds pretty good to me. It makes sense that, because of the importance of being an executive cabinet member, it makes sense that you wouldn't just go to automatic removal, and that you would try to solve the problem before you just go to removal, because it is very tricky to replace an officer in the midst of an academic year. But yeah, that's about it.
This will probably seriously impact you guys if you stick around in some student government for the next couple of years. Like, this is something that you will have to work with probably, just because, you know, running a staff is hard, and so it's good to have systems in place for that. So do any senators or does anyone else have anything to discuss? We all like the rules? We all think it's fair? Okay, good. All right. All those in favor of approving resolution to clarify internal suspension process for executive cabinet members, please raise your hands, and that is including new Senator Patterson. All those opposed? All those abstained? It passes with one abstention. All right, the next item of new business we have is Resolution 1110-2025-2BO, which is the resolution to update funding standards in the bylaws. So would anyone like to motion to discuss? Senator Cochran, would anyone like to second? Senator at-large Frank? I'm going to pass this to parliamentarian Rath while you guys read through this.
You mispronounced my name. Yeah, no, it's okay. Basically, this resolution, I worked on this with the help of Treasurer Vel earlier last week, but basically all this one does is it establishes a budget request standards document that would go over standards followed by Finance Committee or the Treasurer when it comes to determining approved allocations, all that sort of funding stuff. It also introduces the possibility of having a winter funding period in the event that the winter break, if it continues to be this long, kind of gives clubs that like turn around to host events at the start of the spring semester. It also updates the specific bylaw that says that requesting funding for single items over $200 or reoccurring research expenses, things like thread, ink, filament, things that kind of like constantly have to be like purchased or replaced because they're not reusable, will just be looked at with more scrutiny. Beforehand, it referred to a document like saying like something for large funding purchases that like we don't have access to, or like we're not sure that clubs got access to for a minute. So all this does is just go in, update, modernize like funding standards to make it easier. Future treasurers have something to refer back to, and for clubs have something to reference when it comes to filling out funding requests during funding periods.
All right, does anyone have anything to discuss with this? Alrighty. All those in favor of approving resolution to update funding standards in the bylaws, please raise your hands. All right, it is unanimous. And it passes. All right, our third and final item of business today is the constitution of the Environmental Action Club. So would anyone like to motion to discuss? Senator Conley, would anyone like to second? Senator Mahone?
Oh my goodness, it's me, yet again everyone. This is the same club as Student Alliance to Manage the Earth. SAVE, they're updating their name to become the Environmental Action Club. They've changed up their purpose a little bit to like accommodate that. Those are the only two really big changes that they've made. Other than that, this constitution is exactly the same for the most part as the one that was approved earlier in the year. I see no reason why this shouldn't be approved. It's a pretty small change. That's pretty much all I have to say about this one.
Anything to discuss? All right. All those in favor of approving the Constitution of the Environmental Action Club, please raise your hands. All right, it is unanimous, it passes. Lovely, glad to get through new business. Second up on the floor, I'd love to hear prom theme brainstorming ideas. Let's go. Does anyone have any ideas for prom? I can read off the ideas that we've already had. I don't think any of them are winners. I'm so sorry, Christian, but I think they're a little niche. Senator Mahone.
Okay,
Use the mic.
Okay.
Thank you.
How how specific are we thinking for themes?
I think we should probably keep it pretty broad, so that way it's, palatable to the whole student body.
Okay, because when I'm thinking about specific, I was thinking about like combining unrelated things in a very silly way, like, I don't know, underwater steampunk or something like that.
Now, who's gonna have an outfit for that laying around?
Nobody.
Except for
You'll
you.
have to- No, I don't either. I'll have to make
I know you
really
do.
fun. I have a steampunk thing. It's not an underwater steampunk thing. I can tweak it.
Does anyone else have any prom or theme ideas? Yes, Senator Patterson.
Backwards.
Okay.
Backwards.
Senator Khan.
Like the liberal, like yellow lighting and like plain walls and like never.
Senator Conley. Please save us.
Little turn on. Can I hear the themes we came up with the last time first?
Yes, so the themes that we came up with in the prom committee channel on Slack, and please let me know at the end of this meeting, or just let me know at the end of this meeting if you want to be added to that, so we can continue brainstorming. It's a little bit more of a silly, goofy channel. I think that it would be fun to do an 80s theme where everyone has like really shitty, poofy hair, and we do like a bunch of like silly family pictures, like when you go to Kohl's and you get those like really shitty family pictures with your friends. I think that would be fun. Christian's list is much longer. Okay, I'm gonna list them off. Microsoft XP,
Okay.
Dunkin' Donuts, Solar Punk, Cloud, Eastern Europe, Midwest Emo. I like Midwest Emo actually. Chupacabra, Microwave, and McDonald's Play Place.
Okay.
I'm gonna remind y'all it's Senator Conley who suggests that we name those, so it's her who has the mic.
So I was thinking we have such a large population here that is so interested in film, media, and all that. Everyone knows the movie La La Land. None of the stars, the La La Land themed prom. It's easy to do. It could be more simple outfits because of the Hollywood red carpet-esque that you get from the movie and everything. If we want to go European, Bridgerton, have more English-inspired things. Those are just two ideas.
Senator Lauries.
So this is like pretty serious, but going along with your 80s idea, I recently rewatched season 2 of Stranger Things, and because Stranger Things will have recently wrapped up around the time that prom is going to be happening, I think that it should be like snowball themed, like from Stranger Things, and then we can be 80s anniversary.
Senator Lloyd Frank.
Well, I really like that you mentioned 80s, because I was going to say 70s, with bell-bottom pants and disco and floral shirts and hopefully not as many substances.
Senator Mahone.
I wanna revisit that solar punk option. I think it would be really cool and that we should do it.
Facts. Senator Cochran.
Funny that you mentioned 80s and 70s. I was going to mention 2000s. It goes with our current SGA nostalgia theme, and that's the first thing that came to my mind when we started talking about themes. I also really appreciate the La La Land idea. I think it would be absolutely wonderful. And I also remember back at our PSGS that Pitt Greensburg mentioned their casino night themed prom. Or homecoming sort of thing. I actually attended that, and they had like all the fun games, and it was a really fun thing to do with raffles and stuff like that.
We have discussed casino night, but I don't want to step on Monte Carlo Night's toes because they do that at the beginning of the year. So how do you feel about holding a second casino night of the year? Oh, like the Office casino night, so specifically the Office episode where they have casino. Sunder called me.
If you don't want to step on the toes of casino, you could pivot it and just have it be things like you would see in Las Vegas. So not just casino, but like all the
Like the girls with like the
Yeah.
feathers and stuff too, like Las Vegas. We're gonna go to graphic designer Kurzai first.
Low-key, the 2000s theme could be kind of easy because there's a lot of things that go into that. I currently have a running list of all things 2000 so that I have a reference for if we like don't know what story theme to do, we just reference that. We have Just Dance. We could have like a Just Dance theme going at the dance or something. We have Minecraft. I don't know what we could do with that. Claire's Justice and Monster High. I don't know, there's something there. Duct tape, we could have a duct tape craft table at prom. That would be epic. Scholastic book fair. Zuzu Pets, Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, Rainbow Loom. I feel like there's a lot that we could go off of there. We could make a lot of fun stations or dance theme based off that.
Huh? Our list is so long.
Well, that's all our polls.
I actually am envisioning the 2000s one most because I feel like it'd be fun to like put Just Dance up on the screen and have everyone do a Just Dance for like a line dance. And then we could also for the photo booth have like a Hannah Montana wig and stuff like that. And the craft table is also a great idea. I'm gonna hand it to Parliamentarian Grace first.
Alright, I got two things. Christian, I personally really love the Windows XP theme, and I also think that it would tie in really well if we were to do a 2000s prom, because you could use like that kind of like sort of like 90s 2000s like UI aesthetic for like promo and for like some of the decor. If we also wanted to do something more casino themed, we could do Casino Royale, like the James Bond movie, because it would be very slick, very like espionage, kind of have a very cool vibe to it. But that is just an idea. Other than that, I have nothing to say because I have never been to a prom before, so I will let everyone else figure it out.
Senator Patterson.
I really like the 2000s thing because I think there's like so many different styles and ways that you can tie into it. So I think just like calling it the 2000s thing kind of gives people the opportunity to like kind of like make it their own thing in a sense while still being on theme. So I think that's a good idea.
President Rango.
Okay, so do we have like an ad hoc committee for planning prom, or is it just like a loser thing?
We do have an ad hoc, but also I figured it would be more fun to like kind of bring it to Ledgepod every week just to have something more like fluffy to talk about. So we can kind of do like a mix of both.
I have an idea of doing like a bracket. Like, what if we do a tournament of prom topics to get to choose it? Yeah. So like winner takes all.
Oh, are you about to do math on us? Are you about to math the fuck out of us?
But two more things. I do like the 2000s things because it encompasses a lot, but I really love the La La Land thing. But I'm also offended no one asked me about the microwave thing. It works in my mind.
Explain it. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, what's the microwave,
So,
Christian?
everyone comes up dressed as food. The dance floor is a spinning tray. There's metal all Let's move on.
Senator Loesch Frank.
Two things, lean in for this. For one, I do also like the 2000s theme. For one, it can tie into that Midwest emo theme, which caught my attention. And also, if we want to tie in the Microsoft XP theme, I think we should have a photo area where the backdrop is just the Microsoft XP screensaver. And that was all. Thank you.
Graphic designer Kurzai.
Title, theme, pitch, It's called Goodbye 2025, Hello 2000. That's it, that's all I have to say.
We're over 2025, if you weren't. God bless you. Senator Conley?
This is more just like a thought, because we have so many themes we just love so much. Do we push this into Day of Giving, how there's the homecoming stuff around it? I feel like we do nothing for that. So if the prom goes over well, should we keep this moving so we tie the students into Day of Giving a little bit more and actually have a homecoming around that? But like a dance thing like we're doing?
Day of Giving already happened.
Well, yeah, I know, but this is like, that's why I said I'm saying like ahead. Like, would this be something we want to continue to the next time Day of Giving would come?
So,
next year.
like next year, have
Yeah.
prom around Day of Giving.
Mhm.
I like that idea. You should write that down for next year. Parliamentarian Wraith.
Formerly Senator Reid last year, but that's besides the point. I think that could be a good idea. The only thing about Day of Giving is it's kind of more not really aimed towards like students. It's more for like fundraising for like external from like partners with the school and like other like or like people that like be like foundations, trusts, all sorts of stuff who want to like donate to Point Park because we are a private nonprofit institution. So like I think it could be like a fun like homecoming thing, but like if we kept that more separate from Day of Giving, because Day of Giving is like not really aimed at like the student body.
Senator Lewis.
Sorry, this is going off like the Day of Giving homecoming thing. Could we use like a homecoming week to advertise Day of Giving? Because like if more of the students are doing stuff, like more alumni will probably see it.
Maybe. I think that this is something we should have like a homecoming conversation for. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. We'll talk about homecoming another time. Senator at Large Frank.
When do we currently plan to hold prom this year?
So the administration is the one that came up with the idea of having prom, and the reason that they came up with it is because we have an extra week off for winter break than we usually have. So they wanted to have something to welcome back students with. So it's going to be, I think, Saturday before classes start. So I think that's the 17th of January. So that Saturday, the 17th of January. So please make sure that you're moved back in if you plan to attend prom. Any other ideas for prom theme? Okay, how do we want to decide what prom theme we do? No. Yeah, like it's not our prom. They just told us that we're the committee for it. Senator Conley?
If we can decide on 2 topics here, we could take it to the town hall meeting and have the kids pick between
I
the
like
2
that.
we like the most.
Do we all like that idea? Let's do 3. Senator Biagini?
We could also go to the lovely people of Yik Yak as I could post as SGA and like ask like which, or like post, like you could do like 3, if we're picking 3, you could do like 3 different posts, be like upvote if you want this theme for prom and which one ever gets the most.
The reason I fear that is because I don't want Yik Yak to be the decider, and if we don't choose their theme, they're going to be mad at us, so.
This is true, it was just an idea.
Yeah, good idea, let's not do that. Senator Patterson.
I also kind of support, maybe not Yik Yak, maybe something else that like is commonly used, like an Instagram account or like a story or something. I always say that because you bring more attention to it, because I know a lot of people don't look at like flyers and things that are related around the school. So I feel like if they see it on like social media and then hear about it, like it'll bring more attention to it. So I think that's a good way to get like everyone excited.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to say our Instagram, I think we found we reach more students if we actually go out and speak to them. So I think we should look into or like think about just actually going out and asking people or setting up a table and canvassing, stuff like that, rather than Instagram.
I think we can also have an Instagram post, but I agree that that's not going to be like the main route to get to people. I like the idea of having 3 that we pick and then we like kind of poll the students at the town hall and on Instagram and table and like kind of have like a help plan prom type of like initiative going on. Like we want it to be for the students. Senator Cochran.
This is just a quick general question for both comms and just the general exec board. Do you think it's possible, since this is more so like an administration thing rather than we're just planning it and not like creating it, we could also use the administration would be open to using the general park accounts for any of these, since those get more traction?
Yeah, we could talk about using sales account and make a list of accounts that you think would be good to use. But yeah, I think that's probably something we can talk about, yeah? Okay, so do we want to narrow this down to 3 right now? Let's do that. Okay, the ones that we've talked about today are La La Land, Bridgerton, Stranger Things Snowball, 70s Disco, Solar Punk, 2000s, Casino Las Vegas, Casino Royale Espionage, and Microsoft XP. And Microwave. I actually love the idea of microwave. I don't think it would bring enough people, but if I had a microwave party, it'd be poppin'. Like the jalapenos. Senator PG.
Couldn't we hypothetically combine Microsoft XP into 2000s and microwave into 2000s? Like, I feel like I don't know, I feel like there's a possibility to put microwave into the 2000s. Like, maybe not like an entire floor of a rotating stage. Maybe we have like a little one. Like I know at my past proms, there's been like little rotating stages and they take pictures on them and like while you're like spinning. Or Christian, you could come to the prom dressed as a microwave. You know, whatever floats your boat.
He'll be there as John Target. Senator Cochran.
I really think there's a potential with microwave. I think we can cover the whole room with foil. You make some technical production students that can make a turntable in the middle and they'll go the whole time. It can happen.
Fireworks by Silver. Senator Patterson.
Okay, so what if, like, once again, what if we just do the 2000s theme? And then we can, like, break it up into stations amongst, like, microwave and all the other...
Microwave is not 2000s, guys. We're not including microwave.
I feel like... Okay, well then with the, like,
we can have an internal microwave party. How about that? Senator Conley.
Okay, in my personal opinion, I think the 3 that we should pick would be the 70s and 80s thing. Seems like a lot of us like it, and it's just like niche enough to be like, oh, this is so fun. 2000s I think is really strong, and then I think La La Land just goes to like a broader population of the student body, because I'm just thinking like maybe there's just some kids who really like hate the 80s and won't go because they hate the 80s. So that's just what I'm kind of thinking about.
That's fair. I also hate the 80s, but they have funny pictures. Senator Cochran.
I would like to first of all second all 3 of those. I think those are the 3 I'd probably pick as well. My concern with splitting up the 2000s different stations is that I feel like it could get very convoluted and very just like, if there's too much, it can turn into an eyesore. And that's my main concern with it. Like if the whole thing's just split up, it wouldn't look very, so I think there'd be more planning involved with that with 2000s. I'm just not sure how well the stations would work visually, yeah.
Okay, so if I'm hearing this correctly, I think that the 3 that we're going to continue to think about are 2000s / Microsoft XP kind of lumped together. The decades, 70s and 80s, and La La Land. Does anyone else have any other ones that they're really into? I'm personally into Bridgerton and Casino Las Vegas. Senator Mahone.
Was the Minecraft option included in the 2000s?
I visually don't see how that would work with the rest of the stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
Probably wouldn't.
No.
Okay, never mind.
But we could have like a Minecraft backdrop, like the Microsoft XP backdrop. We could do like a photo booth of like, we could have like a couple different photo booth backdrops. Senator Cochran.
If we ended up going with Bridgerton, is there any way we could also make that possibly like a royal masquerade or something, so the general idea as well?
See, that's beautiful. I love that idea. Senator Roberts.
I also think Vegas casino is a strong idea because it's not just casino, so there's more room for things to be done with it without maybe being super, super broad. Like, I love 2000s, but we'd have to probably narrow that a little bit. So that could be strong, perhaps.
Senator Biagini.
I would like to second that idea of the Vegas theme, and I also really like the Bridgerton, bringing it to more like royal. If I were to give my opinion on the top three, I would say royalty, Bridgerton vibes, casino, Las Vegas, and 2000s.
Okay, I think the ones that I've heard most are 2000s, La La Land, Bridgerton, Masquerade, and Casino Las Vegas. Yeah? Yes? Yeah? Okay, we're gonna narrow it down to those four, is that okay? Or do we want to narrow it down to 3? 4? 4? Okay. The prom theme will either be 2000s / Microsoft XP, something in that realm, La La Land, Bridgerton Masquerade, or Casino Las Vegas. And I'm gonna send that in the channel right now, so that way we have it on our record. So, anything else for second open floor? This was a lovely comp discussion. Thank you all for participating so heavily. Senator Roberts.
Just a quick thought on volunteering, times. I know for me as a COPA student and a few of the other ones, Fridays we do have classes during the day, so I would love to participate, but I wouldn't be able to do Friday during the day, and I think there's a handful of us that are in the same boat, so.
How do Saturdays feel? Is that also out of the question?
Is that
That would be on campus gardening day on a Saturday. It would be 2 or 3 hours. Maybe not even. Yes, I'm recalling.
I think that also it depends on extracurricular activities for other students. I know that I have rehearsals on Saturdays for 1X, and then right now there's your intense stuff going on, so I think it still is going to depend on individuals, but.
How about Monday evenings after this? Does that work for everyone? No? Senator Cochran?
I have a class 6 to 9 p.m. on Mondays.
Okay, Senator Loris?
Would it be possible if you did 2 shifts of gardening volunteering?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is we might have 2 time slots throughout the week, so that way multiple groups of people can have volunteering opportunities. I also reached out to the Red Door, which is down the street from us. They serve 2 meals a day, and so I let them know that we would probably have a group of 5 students available at any given time throughout the week-ish. So we're waiting to hear back from them. So there are going to be multiple time slots for volunteering opportunities, just trying to gauge when we'd all like those to be. So what are some ideal times?
Maybe there should be a weekend option, just because of the way classes are. There's only so much free time during the week.
Senator Cochran?
I don't think the Saturdays is a bad idea, I just know individually and personally depend on schedules. So that might just be a weekend.
Okay, we'll look at some Saturdays and then we'll also look at some other options. Anything else for our second open floor? Great. So now we've gotten 2 announcements. This Friday we're going to Urinetown. We're going to meet at 7:30 at the Playhouse. We'll probably a little bit earlier than that, 7:20 at the Playhouse. Can I get a raise of hands of anyone who's interested in going to that? Nice, okay. Then we will see the 3 of you, and I hope exec will also be joining us. I think there are a couple exec members that are coming, so I'll see you guys on Friday. Does anyone else have anything else to announce? All right, today's meeting is adjourned at 4:09 p.m. and next week we'll be meeting in here.